You're listening to Winnipeg's Classic 107. My name is Simon Rusnak. Red House Live, the performing arts porch party, is back with another offering of lawn chair concerts at majestic oaks and elms in Crescentwood. Concert organizer and owner of the Red House, Zohreh Gervais, has joined me in studio this morning. Hey there.
Hello.
What a pleasure it is to have you in studio. Every time we have chatted about Red House, Zohreh, we have chatted virtually. I'm so thrilled to have you here.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that it's actually, everything is in person now.
Everything is in person now. And not only that, but this is a fourth season of Red House Live. Did you ever expect to be planning a fourth season?
No, it was only ever meant to be like a COVID project, you know, during the time when venues were closed. But then audiences and musicians loved it so much that I just keep getting demand for it every year. So it's going again.
Give the people what they want. Give the people what they want. I mean, as you just said, this a pandemic project that started in 2020, back when we had all of those restrictions in place. And the big thing here was to really connect artists and audiences, not via live stream, right? Exactly,
yeah. There's just no comparison as far as I'm concerned when it comes to live performance versus live streaming. And I really wanted to hear music in person again. So that's what we did.
And it was so appreciated. I remember taking in those concerts in those weird times we all lived through. But what a balm it served as. And it was just so wonderful. And I'm so thrilled that this is continuing for a fourth season. And I mean, you sort of alluded to this already as well. But what brought you back for a fourth year? Was it really the people?
It's honestly the artists, the musicians. Every year I'm like, I'm only going to do one show, or I'm not going to do any shows this year because I'm traveling or working or whatever. But then people keep messaging like, hey, can we please do a show? And, you know, it's so much fun for the community. And I have a hard time saying no because I want to hear these shows too. You know, like if people are coming through town, I would love to have an opportunity to hear them. So that's what's happened.
And I guess for you especially, you don't have to go too far to take in these concerts.
It's really a sweet deal for me. I literally have to walk down the steps.
So let's chat a little bit about this season. You've talked about this in the past, about how seasons sort of curate themselves, where it is artist driven. They essentially pitch you for the porch and you say, let's go for it. Is that what's happened this year as well?
Yeah, for the most part. There's a few artists that I contacted because I knew I wanted to have them. Or, you know, for example, like we had a lot of jazz artists contact me, and then I thought, I also want to do some folk and some classical stuff. So I reached out to a few folks. But for the most part, yeah, it's been pretty steady. I get a lot of really great messages from musicians from all over. And so, yeah, it's pretty fun to get to put the program together.
Yeah, you get to knock on a few doors to see who else might be available to continue this whole punny metaphor thing going on. So let's chat about what's planned for this season. One which features 13 concerts running from June to mid-September. It all begins tomorrow. How's this year's lineup looking genre-wise? I mean, you sort of pointed to that. Pretty jazzy this year.
It's pretty jazzy, though there's also some folk mixed in there, and there's, I think, 1 or 2 classical shows. There's also 2 more shows that I haven't posted yet.
Oh.
So those will be surprise ones. And they're very exciting. I'm not going to talk about them except to say check your Instagram regularly because I will be posting them eventually, and they're going to be very cool. So yeah, we have a bunch of well-known kind of folk artists coming through, and then we've got some new jazz faces as well as some veterans of the Winnipeg jazz scene. And then we've got, a little bit of classical music. Elation Pauls is going to be doing a concert. So it should be interesting.
Should be very interesting. It always is. I want to unpack these things a little bit more. It all begins with singer-songwriter Scott Nolan, who's just a beautiful storyteller.
Oh my gosh.
Such a beautiful storyteller.
I'm so excited for this concert.
Was this one of those ones where Scott reached out to you, or did you reach out to Scott and say, hey, do you want to play on my porch?
You know, this one is actually yet another way that I get artists is that other house concert producers or other concert producers will say, hey, this artist wants to do a show. Are you interested? And so this was that case. So shout out to Ian Maddie who put this together for us. And yeah, I'm so excited to work with Scott. He's an amazing artist and storyteller, like you said, and he's just so captivating.
He is.
You know, like everything he does, it's just riveting. So I'm so excited to have him.
We've talked a lot about Scott in terms of his partnerships with Glenn Buer and the Fallen Angels Orchestra.
Yes.
We've had Glenn to talk on the show before to talk about, you know, that relationship and partnership. But just to see Scott up on the stage in this intimate setting, I mean, what a wonderful way to begin a season of concerts. From there, plenty of duos, trios, quartets, ensembles, including Evan Miles, Eric St. Goddard, Will Bonis, Jocelyn Gould, Carl Cohut, Carly App, up-and-comers and Juno winners, all part of this year's offerings. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the point of this series, right? Is that I want to hear people who are really well established, but it's also a great venue for folks who people haven't heard as much, and some of the new people on the scene. So yeah, I'm really excited to hear them all.
Any other people you want to draw special attention to? I mean, it's tough to run through everyone. Like you said, 13 concerts. But anyone else you want to give a special shout out to?
You know, the folks who are coming in from out of town, I would say I'm pretty excited about, because these are people who haven't performed a ton in Winnipeg, and it's going to be really interesting. So like Palmer is a folk duo. I think they play violin and cello, and they do some really gorgeous work. And they were recommended to us by Jen Thiessen. So she's another former performer. We get lots of artists through former artists, which is super cool. So really looking forward to hearing them. I'm also super excited to hear Nick Fay. He's a singer-songwriter from Saskatchewan who's coming through. So that's going to be a really great show. And he's doing like a triple header with Mason Mel and Dom Adams. So that's going to be a really good show.
Big Andy Schaaf vibes from him.
Yeah,
but anyway, that should be a really good show.
And then, of course, I'm really excited to hear the Spectacles and Little Myth, because I haven't had them before, but some of the musicians from those groups have played on my porch with other groups. So, yeah, there's just going to be so much good stuff. I'm so excited.
Well, you've sort of already talked about this, but there's going to be some concerts announced at a later date. Always best to follow along with Red House Live. Where can people go to get details and to keep abreast of all this information?
The best way is Instagram. So if you don't have Instagram, I'm so sorry. Every year, I'm going to set up a mailing list, and then it doesn't happen, but maybe this will be the year that I finally do that. But yeah, Red House Live, and House is spelled Haus, on Instagram, and then also on Facebook. And because it's an outdoor series, just like a note of caution that if it is a thunderstorming or the weather is inclement in other ways, just check your Instagram and Facebook, because sometimes we reschedule the concerts or cancel them. And sometimes we go ahead, depending on what the people want, right? So, yeah.
We are a hearty breed here on the prairie, and
bring our umbrellas.
Yeah, bring your umbrellas, and bring a lawn chair, bring a blanket, sit on the grass, bring some snacks, bring some tea, whatever you want really to take in the show. Very, very casual, but a wonderful way to experience these wonderful concerts on the porch. And that's exactly what I was going to say is, what if there's a cancellation? But all the more details to, open up Instagram or Facebook and see what's what. Concerts are on a variety of days, of course, like you said, depends on performer schedules. So best to follow along. And one last thing, these concerts are, they're free, they're open to the public, but a donation encouraged the artists, right?
Yes, exactly. The artists are paid completely by donation. So we do encourage people to be generous, and they can donate either in cash at the concert, or we also have an e-transfer email set up, so people can donate that way as well.
Just another season of porch party concerts. Zohreh, so thrilled that Red House is back, and so thrilled you could take the time to come here in person to tell us about it.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Anytime.